Ooh. How's it going, chat? Actually, yeah, maybe just leave it open. My room is a mess right now. We're mid-packing. So I can have like a little short stream today, but I do need to go soon. Wait, no, this is not where I was. Was it this? Did I not save? Because this is apparently later than this one. Sent this? Oh, she does the same thing, okay. Okay, so what else are we doing here then? Can we go back to the pawnbrokery? Wasn't it closed? Oh wait, no, we had to investigate because we went over here and there were like cops everywhere. Okay, yeah. This is where it happened then. Last night. That's right. The two thugs I told you about were obviously ransacking the place looking for valuables. But apart from the policeman here, you wouldn't know anything had happened. There's no sign of a disturbance. Hmm. No, you're right about that actually. It's almost like there's one thing that's obviously gone, and that's what they took, and that's specifically what they came here for. There's a giant conspiracy. In fact, if anyone, it's the police who seem to be the ones doing the ransacking. I know what you mean. They're like a gang of organized criminals, all dressed in black. Oh, I heard that. Oh, Gumshoe, good morning. Hmm. I suppose I ought to thank you for your vigilance last night. We got to the scene before it was disturbed at least. Shame you let the rogues get away, mind. Yes, I'm sorry about that. What the fuck? Yeah, I remember being upset about this yesterday. Like, fuck you. Thought you'd... Also, like, Runosuke, have some fucking backbone. I thought you'd assigned extra men to be... to the beat around here, Gregsy. Now look what's happened. Hurley's been injured because there weren't enough police on duty. Ah, your ladyship. No one told me you were coming. I expect you to take full responsibility for what happened to Hurley and see that he has the very best medical care. Of course, your ladyship. The very best doctors in the capital are attending to him as we speak. And I don't think it's Runo's fault that the rogues managed to get away, is it? Chasing criminals is the police's job. Absolutely, your ladyship. As you say, ma'am, as you say. The gent in black is totally blameless. Everyone's in agreement about that. Would you believe it? It's like he's a completely different person with Iris. Talk about a personality change. Oh, where are me manners? Are you thirsty, your ladyship? Perhaps you'd like some juice. Some nice, refreshing juice. Oh, why? Are you thirsty, Gregsy? I have some of my special herbal tea with me, if you'd like some. lovely. Top very much. That hit the spot, your ladyship. Ugh. I can't say it, game. She's 10. I don't even recognize him like this. So, how is the investigation going, Inspector? Nothing to it, really. Very simple case, this. There's some very definitive evidence. We're just about to charge the diver we arrested last night, in fact. Gina? You're going to charge her? That's right. Should be able to bring her before the judge at the Bailey tomorrow. Definitive evidence, you say? What is it? Come on, show me. Your ladyship, as much as I wish I could oblige you, I'm afraid. Ah, I see. You've already captured the pair of thugs who broke in here last night, have you? What the... And you're going to put them on the stand as witnesses, are you? How could you... How could you possibly know that? I had a feeling, that's all. Remind me never to try to keep a secret from Iris. So you've arrested the two men who shot Mr. Sholmes, have you? Well, yes. They were rounded up pretty quickly by the lads on the beat. And Miss Lestrade is being held at the prison. She should be. That's assuming she hasn't lifted the key from the jailer, of course. Alright, I want to know what the her ladyship deal is. I couldn't help noticing, Inspector. What, out with it, sunshine? Well, there seems to be a marked difference between the way you talk to me and Iris. Yeah, we're not 10. Watch the sauce, Sonny. I'm a copper, and we don't go in for favoritism. But he's right. You do treat us differently. It's because of those Adventures of Herlock Sholmes stories, that's why. Oh. I crop up in him, don't I? Inspector Tobias Gregson. Oh, well yes, because you're an acquaintance of Hurley's. What did you write about the Inspector, Iris? I don't remember, really. It was one of Sholmes' lines. Gregson is smartest of the Scotland Yarders, is how he put it. Oh, did I write that? And you know what that one line did for me, eh? The very next month, my pay doubled. Doubled, I tell you. Oh, that's amazing. Actually, it's amazing. All because everyone at the yard reads them. They read all of the Herlock Sholmes stories. They've even set up a fan club for me. Whoa! Of course, that explains everything. It was around that time you became such a toady to me. Is it because of the green? Yeah, I see it. Can you blame me? All it'd take is one bad word from you and Sholmes could change his tune about me. Gregson? No. The great detective will say, he's getting quite overrated these days. Think what would happen to my salary if that came to print, eh? The whole thing gives me the willies. I can't tell you how many nights of sleep I've lost worrying about that. But that would never happen, Gregsy. Every month when the new Rants magazine comes out, my hands are trembling as I turn the pages. Oh, how awful for you. Here, have some of my tea to settle your nerves. Oh, dude, he relishes it so hard. Like, look at his eyes. He's so happy. Ah, lovely. Taught very much. That really hit the spot. Your ladyship. Milady, tea, total. Okay. Shouldn't you be, like, sucking up to Sholmes or something? Can you tell us anything about Mr. Sholmes? What's his condition? Sorry, I'm not at liberty to divulge that information. Scotland Yard matters are strictly confidential. Well, I know he's been operated on at St. Sinner's. Why can't I see him? I'm family, you know. I'm terribly sorry, your ladyship. It's the hospital's policy. No visiting at all. Oh. The bullet must have hit an artery in his midriff. He's lost a fair bit of blood. Oh no. He didn't seem too bad in the first hour or so. But a hemorrhage like that is enough to make even the one and only Sherlock Holmes pipe down. Mr. Sholmes is a human like the rest of us, you know? Well, anyway, he's having emergency surgery right now. They've got to stop that bleeding. But he will be alright, won't he? They'll be able to make him better? Of course, your ladyship. He'll be as right as rain before you know it. Really? How do you know? How do I know? Well, because of course. Ah, yes, because Mr. Sholmes is such a great detective, that's why. We better pray the doctors have a better grasp of what's needed to make someone well again. Oh dear, please don't die, Hurley. I'll report to your ladyship the moment I hear he's out of the operating theater. Oh, yeah, there's something I was supposed to talk to you about actually, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, what is it? I've got an important message from you. I clean forgot about it until now. Is it from... Oh, dude, she was gone for like a bit, and then I've blessedly forgotten her name. God, what was her fucking name? Sus Otto. Mikotoba. Alright, we're back in business. An important message. I wonder what it could be. Are you going to tell me what the important message is then, Inspector? Yes, it's about that sussy lady who's normally by your side, your assistant. Dear Susie, is she alright? She's at the station, isn't she? Being questioned, I believe. Nope, not anymore. She had to head off. Head off? Where? To Lord Strongheart's office, of course. He summoned her. Ah, yes, of course. I'd forgotten about that. One of the whipstocks took her there in a yard carriage after we'd finished questioning her. But she asked to tell you she didn't have the fare for the return journey and to go there and meet her. She's got a nerve, using a Scotland Yard as a bloomin' messaging service. I see. Well, thank you for passing that on, Inspector. Why did Susie have to go to see the Lord Chief Justice? She didn't tell me, but I'd better head over to the Lord Chief Justice's office to fetch her straight away. Because I guess we can't investigate yet? If I try to investigate. Alright then, let's see what we can uncover. Wait, what you think you're doing there, Sunshine? You can't touch anything in here. That just fell apart so fast. Oh, but we were hoping to investigate. This is a crime scene, for Pete's sake. No touching. What's the problem, Gregsy? Bruno's a lawyer, you know that. Oh, I'm ever so sorry, your ladyship. Ever so sorry. The rules and regulations are a thorn in my side. I mean, him being a lawyer doesn't mean he gets to just diddle the crime scene, whatever. Of course, if Mr. Naruhodo was to have been properly appointed by the accused, that'd be another matter. The accused? If you could show me some representation papers, I'd be only too happy to let you nose around. Did you hear that, Reno? You need Ginny to sign some representation papers. Looks like presenting the detective here with the correct paperwork is the only way. Okay. Yeah, I know. Dude, if we go pick her up, do we lose Ginny? I kind of prefer Ginny over... I don't want her. Okay. Not Ginny. Iris. Yes. No matter how many times I come here, I always get the same sense of oppressiveness somehow. Do you think the place is oppressive? I think it's normal. How so? I mean, look at that suit of armor over there. You can't take that seriously, can you? Maybe it thinks the same about you. So everything is clear with regard to tomorrow's arrangements, I trust. Yes, thank you very much. There they are. Otto and Lord Strongheart. I wonder what they're talking about. They both look very serious. Very good. There is nothing further to discuss. You may return to your lodgings. No doubt, you have to do much in preparation for your return to your homeland. Wait, what? Wait, what did he just say? Your return to your homeland? Sasato-san. Are we going back? Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. What was all that about? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you for coming to collect your colleague. What's all this about? Why were you talking about Mrs. Sato's return to her homeland and tomorrow? It's tomorrow? But what about Ginny's trial? You mean... she's been formally charged now? Oh dear. Mrs. Sato, what's all this about? Oh, please don't concern yourself, Mr. Naruhodo. It's only me going back to Japan. Your life here can continue just as it has. That's not what I asked. What happened? Why are you leaving? It's my father. He's fallen ill. Oh no. Professor Mikotoba? If I may. Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yumei University. We received an international telegram from the Empire of Japan informing us of the news. 10 days ago, Father collapsed with a fever. The cause is apparently unknown, and it seems he grows weaker day by day. I don't believe it. As you are aware, the voyage from here to your country's capital, Tokyo, takes some 50 days. I thought it would be prudent to hasten Mr. Sato's departure as much as possible. Yes, absolutely. I will leave London first thing tomorrow morning. I can't believe this is happening. So Gina has been charged? She'll have to appear in court? Yes, she was formally charged a few hours ago. And the date of the trial has already been set for tomorrow. No, not even 24 hours later? Gina. Ah, the Lestrade girl. And the murder. And the murder of the Baker Street pawnbroker, yes? An all too transpicious case, the pickpocket was clearly disturbed mid-robbery and shot the man in a panic. No, the yard is overstretched as it is, without wasting time on these open and shut cases. It's not wasting time. Ginny would never do something like that. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes, Lord Strongheart. In deference of your fine services to date, I shall overlook this young girl's insolence. But I have no recollection of admitting a child into my office. Leave. Now. Of course, Lord Strongheart. Criminals will tell the most palpable lies in order to evade justice. The police can ill afford the time it takes to unravel all their untruths. Meanwhile, more crimes are perpetrated. We have far more serious matters with which to contend. Serious matters? Didn't Gregson mention something like that yesterday? Yes, Inspector Gregson made a similar remark yesterday. It's no concern of yours, though I'm sure I need not remind you of that. "3 minutes precisely until my next meeting. You must excuse me." There's just one more thing, Lord Strongheart, which is... it's Miss Lestrade's trial. I wonder if you might permit me to defend her. A timely suggestion, sorry. The girl currently has no representation. But that's not fair. Yes, she may be a pickpocket, but she still deserves a fair trial. Do not misunderstand me, young lady. The government provides for those too poor to afford representation with a public defender. The accused need only sign the relevant paperwork, and a defense barrister will be assigned to the case. However, the young girl in question has refused that right. Why would she do that? A question you would do well to direct at Miss Lestrade. You'll find her at her local prison. Yes, thank you. Now then, it's time I was leaving. Good day to you. What a day. Jin is charged with murder. Sato-san's about to leave. Come, Mr. Naruhodo. Iris, we must make haste. But, Susie, you're leaving for Japan tomorrow, aren't you? Don't you have packing and things to do? Nah, she takes like a minute. As Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, my personal circumstances are of no consequence. My sole purpose remains to help you in whatever way I can. Thank you, Mrs. Sato. That's a very pensive look. By who? I think we ought to visit Gina first. In any case, I should like to wish her well before I leave. Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go. If I'm honest, this has completely thrown me off. I'll just have to do what I can. As a lawyer. Okay. So, prison? What if we just kept Iris? Ah. Hello again, Gina. What are you law here for? Against my better judgment, probably to defend you. To have the muzzle of that grenade launcher shoved in our faces yet again, obviously. I think I need to improve the way you load the ammunition into that thing, don't I? Look. You can come as many times as you like, but I ain't got nothing more to say to you. Gina, I wonder if you might hear me out. There's something I'd like to say. What? I'm sorry to say that I must reluctantly bid you farewell. Eh? Farewell? Tomorrow, I must begin my journey back home. To Japan. I fear we may never meet again. Oh, it's like a different version of, like, her theme song. It's like a sad version. Wait, is it? I feel like it's a little different, but maybe not. Maybe it's just like the atmosphere, but there's like instruments missing from it. Oh, right. I've had the pleasure of meeting so many lovely people here in London. I have so many wonderful memories. And yet, as things stand now, it'll be a glum parting indeed. Poor Iris is so miserable. Susie. Well, well, that ain't my business. Both Iris and Mr. Naruhodo believe you to be innocent, Gina. They put their faith in you. But somehow, you can't find it in your own heart to put your faith in them. Yeah, that's right, I can't. What of it? It grieves me greatly to say goodbye to my friends when they're so clearly unhappy. Because of you. What, it's my fault? Yes, it is. Thank you. You know what? Rapidly gaining points. I dislike you the most. Yeah, so I have one final request, Gina, before our paths never cross again. Right here and now. I want you to show both of them that you don't deserve the faith they've invested in. Only by doing that will you truly be as alone as you claim to be. What are you talking about? What do you expect me to do, eh? You've told us that everyone lies. So prove it by admitting one of your own untruths. Dude, I'm gonna just take a break for a sec. I don't know what they're doing. Like it's been 9 days since the 4th of July. Okay, I think we're good. You said something about unforgivable lies. You must tell Mr. Naruhodo and Iris the truth. That is my last request before I leave. My last request as a judicial assistant. No, I can't. Whatever these lies are, they're obviously weighing very heavily on Gina's mind. Gina, I could be wrong, but is it something to do with what happened 2 months ago? Something about that trial? The one the one in which your dad was proven not guilty by us? Ah, the case of that mysterious murder that took place inside the omnibus. You were called as a witness by the prosecution. Is that what this is about? Yeah, you're right. Because in that trial, I lied. I lied like you wouldn't believe. Oh, no way, really? Will you tell us about that now? Like you said, it all happened 2 months ago. The coppers got hold of me and shoved me in the witness stand. And based on your testimony, Mr. McGilded was declared innocent. Yeah, well, thing is, I lied about a whole bunch of stuff. I knew it. What sort of thing did you lie about? I was hiding under the seat that night. That was the truth. It was pitch black in the cubbyhole. I couldn't see a thing, and then I heard that loud thud, like someone falling on the floor. That's when Mr. McGilda discovered you? He pulled me out from under the seat and sat me next to the dead man. Yeah, I mean, now this is obviously her, but my point is, so how is what she said so far different from what she said before? There weren't much left to see by, but when I looked at me hands, I had the cuff's blood all over me. I was so scared I couldn't even speak. Yeah. You had blood on your hands? So yeah, the witnesses were right. It was Gina that the witnesses on the roof deck saw through the skylight. Then Mr. McGilded started asking questions, I suppose. Who you were and why you were hiding under the seat? Yeah, he did. Only, that's not all. What do you mean? I mean, he threatened me. Threatened you how? He made me swear about what I'd seen and what I'd heard. About what he was gonna do after the cub was found dead. He made me swear I wouldn't tell no one about any of it. If I did that, he said he'd let me scarp her before the cops showed up. Gina, you must tell me what he swore you to secrecy about. What you saw, what you heard, everything. You said Mr. McGilded made you swear not to tell anybody what you saw, but you were in the pitch black compartment under the seat the whole time, weren't you? Yes, with Mr. McGilded sitting above your head, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's true, but it was when I heard the thud of the cove in the floor, I let out a little scream, you see. Couldn't help it. McGilded heard that and dragged me out by the arm. And that's when I saw it. It was on the floor next to the old geezer who had been stabbed. A disc, all bright and shiny. A disc? Do you mean... Yeah, that's it. The one what the D took off me at Windy Banks. So the music box disc was there on the floor of the omnibus. Not for long. McGill spotted it straight away. He picked it up smartish and stuffed it inside his pocket. So that disc was in the omnibus 2 months ago, at the scene of Mr. Mason's murder. And the bog trotter told me I weren't to mutter a word of it to no one. Because it was so dark under that seat in the cab. I was straining me ears the whole time. After a while, I heard the door and the footsteps inside the cabin. Presumably, that was McGilded getting on board. Nah, not only him. Oh? Because I could definitely make out the steps of 2 people. In that case, it would seem likely that it was Mr. McGilded and the victim, Mr. Thrice-Filled Mason. Thrice-filled? Thrice-filled. Thrice-filled. Yeah, you got... He had a very fun night. Thrice-filled. In his testimony during the trial, Mr. McGilded claimed he slept during the carriage ride. But whenever I'm in charge, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it. And your own testimony, Sheena, supported his. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Yeah, that weren't exactly true. Neither of them was asleep. I could hear him talking the whole time in low voices. What? What were they talking about? Sorry, I don't know. The sound of the horses and the wheels was too loud. But that still tells us something. Mr. McGilded and the victim knew each other. So McGilded was lying, as I suspected. I knew it weren't going to take long before someone raised the alarm that the bloke had been killed. I mean, like, that's not new information, though. We already knew that they knew each other because, wasn't one of the people in the book McGilded had was Mason? Like, one of the people in there was Mason. Mason's name was there, so, like, Mason and McGilded had met. And Mason had borrowed money from McGilded. I don't see how any of this is, like, new relevant information, but maybe I'm just dumb. I knew it weren't going to take long before someone raised the alarm that the bloke had been killed. Yes, you were quite right. The other passengers on the roof deck noticed very quickly. So when the cab came to a stop, McGilded told me to hide back under the seat again. I climbed in and waited. The 2 cuffs from up top ran off to get the coppers. Yes, Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. Right, and after they'd gone, McGilded asked the driver to do him a favor. A favor? Now then, fellow, what I need you to do is take this coat of mine and deposit it with a nearby pawnbroker. And for your trouble, let's see now. I'll give you 10 guineas. A nearby pawnbroker, you mean, on Baker Street? Yep, you got it. It was Windybanks. That's... Oh my god, that's so contrived. The coachee snapped up the money and ran off to pop his coat as fast as he could. So there was no one left in the carriage. McGilded opened the box under the seat and let me get out of there. But not with conditions. I see. What were McGilded's conditions then? For letting you go free, I mean. Not telling a soul, not for anything, about what I saw and what I heard. And there was something else as well. There's more? Yeah. This is the most important thing, he said. Ooh, unique artwork. I love this style. It's very Sly Cooper. It's very Sly Cooper. I'm after sending the coachman on a little errand for me, with some small change in his hand. Now then, did you hear what I asked of him? Did you see anything at all? At all? You asked him to go pop your weasel, right? Aye. The fiend's taking me overcoat to deposit with the pawnbroker whereabouts. Hereabouts. And I want you, lass, to take the redemption ticket for it, do you understand? What? You want me to have the ticket? That's right. And I'll come fetch it from you later. It's the time within the next 2 months. You're to hang on to it till then. Is that clear? And whatever you do, don't lose it. Alright, that was... the last bit just fell apart. Alright then. In the case I might happen to be delayed now, you have to go to the pawn shop, Windy Bank so it is, and you have to extend the loan before the 2 months is up. If you forget, the article will be forfeited and any old fiend could come along and buy it. Eh? But I ain't got that kind of brass. Here's £5. That should be enough. Do we understand each other, lass? Don't try anything funny now. If you go against me, yeah, I get it. Good. And one more thing. In a few days from now, you'll be visited by the police, I've no doubt. The coppers? Hey, they'll come asking you to take the stand in court to testify as witness. So let's just have a wee chat about that, shall we? What it is that you might say, and what it is that you won't. Huh, so they aren't related, I guess. Just random street urchin, okay? After we'd gone over it all, I piked it and got as far away from there as I could. Eat the pawnbrokers. He hid? Yeah, he hid the pawnbroker's ticket in some bushes near the scene. I went to fetch it the next day once it got dark. So Miguel had planned it, and coerced Gina into giving false testimony. Okay. I bet you're ready to string me up, eh? I lied. That big old courtroom. I told him corkers. The thing is, he said he would make it so we couldn't live in the East End no more. That's what he threatened me with. What a wicked man. He knew everything what went on in the back slums. He knew we had no one to look after us, and we was all just looking out for each other, getting by together. So you mean Mr. Gilded would have, in a heartbeat, he could have had a lot of us chased out of there if he wanted to. And then where could we have gone, eh? Nowhere, that's where. So I didn't have a choice. Thank you, Gina, for telling us everything. But I'm for it now, eh? Go on, admit it, you must be livid. Well, you can make amends by doing me a simple favor. A favor? What? Sign the fucking representation papers for tomorrow's trial. If you don't actually want me to represent you in court, you can rip it up later. But we need that paperwork where we can investigate. The police won't let us. Investigate what? The scene of the incident last night. Mr. Sholmes was shot, you see. You what? Hurley's having a big operation right now, Ginny. Is it bad? Is it gonna be alright? Sholmes is gonna be alright, right? That's why I want to investigate, for Mr. Sholmes' sake as much as anything. So stop being so goddamn difficult. Right. So what you're saying is, if I sign that bit of paper, everyone's happy, is that it? Something like that. Miss Sasato? Yes, of course. I have the representation papers here. Ah, and an envelope, too. I don't need anyone to stick up for me, though. No lawyer or nothing. Oh. Poor Ginny, she seems so lonely. Well, at least this should mean we can investigate the scene at Windybanks now. Yes, and perhaps we can come back to visit Ginny when we're done there. I feel like we finally cracked Sheena. She's opened up to us at last. And now I have her representation papers. No one else knows just what a responsibility that is. Anyway, for now it means Inspector Gregson can't stop us investigating Windybanks. Although, something tells me he's not going to be happy about it. I'm actually really dumb. Like, the fact that I forgot to save before the end of the last part, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Here we go again, at the scene of the crime. Not to thrust these representation papers in Gregson's face and see what he makes of them. Hello again, Inspector. Do you have a minute, please? What is it now? You should go home and get some rest. Here you are, Gregsy. Here are the representation papers. Oh. Can I look at these? I, the undersigned, agree to legal representation by the lawyer named hereunder in regard to the following incident. Oh, okay. Then you just, like, sign your name and shit. Okay. How? I don't believe it. How the devil did you get that stubborn little ragabash to sign... to sign that? I do like the old, like, England-style terminology. It's pretty good. Like, most of these things I'd never heard, but they sound like they'd roll off really well. Like, they'd roll off the tongue really well for someone that spoke the language natively. For me, it just sounds kind of fun. Like, ragabash just sounds like fun to say. I don't know, it's like some street urchin or something. I salute you, that is good work, that is. I can see you've been busy here as well. How about some tea? It's a special blend designed to relieve fatigue. Ah, lovely, lovely. Well, let's see it now. Let's see now. Yes, yes! I hardly feel tired at all. I'm fit as a fiddle, your ladyship. Would it be alright if we investigate the scene of the crime, then? Do as you please. You know where it happened. Through that door behind the counter. Yes, the storeroom. That's where I discovered Mr. Windybank. And Gina. Right. Well, I'll be getting back to business then. Will he be investigating in the storeroom as well, Inspector? If I'm perfectly honest, we'll need to wrap this up before long. Can't afford to spend too much time on it. But there are so many articles to go through, it's taking forever, even with the lads working around the clock. 20 miles, by the way. Which is a problem, because there's another case the Scotland Yard needs to investigate urgently. That must be what Lord Strongheart meant by far more serious matters before. So what I'm saying is, don't get under my feet, sunshine. Come then, let's not waste any time. Okay, so where are the cameras? It was like either up here or behind us in terms of perspective. The lamp's broken? There's the article here in Mr. Winniebank's notes, and, what's this? Looks as if someone left a photographic print behind. Oh shit, where did I see this picture again? It was somewhere recent, too. Oh, look on the back. There's some writing. Is there? Ooh, show us, Susie, show us. Oh, wait, no, I saw this yesterday. Wait, I saw this yesterday? I don't know when. I definitely saw this before. Like, I've read all of this. On 15th April, 10:30 p.m. A gentleman's overcoat, pawned for £1. Clearly, it was a very fine coat. In fact, I think... Yes, this must be the ticket for the overcoat that Ginny redeemed yesterday. And is still wearing, which belonged to Mr. McGilded. I would never have expected the redemption ticket to be handwritten on the back of a photograph, though. It seems Mr. Winniebank just used whatever piece of paper he happened to have in hand. But this photograph of a cat, it looks very familiar, doesn't it? Yes, I'm sure I've seen this exact same picture somewhere else recently. Oh yes, you're right, very recently. The same as the one Ginny gave us earlier. Oh, is it the back of this one? It is! 1 small box, 10 shillings. It's the same cat. This is an adorable little cat. I think it looks a little like Wagahai. I always thought that cats like to curl up inside the heated kotatsu when it snowed. Maybe British cats are built different. Okay. Of course, I was forgetting that she gave us that print. Well, what are you waiting for then, Naruhodo? Get it out. Alright, let the clocks turn. The cops were right there, sus. Yes, they are exactly the same. Is there any actual difference? Not really. Like, the ground is a little different here. There's, like, spots or something. I've got it. These 2 photographs hide an amazing secret. A secret? What does she mean? You must tell us, Iris, at once. Do you really want to know? Yes, we need you to tell us all about this pair of photographs. So, Iris, about these 2 photographic prints. The one we found here and on Mr. Winniebank's counter and the one Gina gave us before. What is this amazing secret you mentioned that's hidden between these 2 identical prints? Actually, that's not quite right. Sorry. If you look carefully, the 2 prints aren't the same. Not exactly, they're not. Have another look at them now. Is it just that? Is that like the ground looks a little different here compared to here? I guess like you can see more of the snow. It's like a slightly shifted perspective, I guess. Where like the one on the right is looking more at the right and the one on the left is it a stereoscopic picture? Do we need to put it in the in the stereoscopic thing, and then like we can have like a 3D image of it. Can you see that they're just slightly different from each other? I think so. It's very subtle though. Yeah, it kind of looks like the one on the left is looking through your left eye, and the one on the right is looking through your right eye. But what's the reason for the subtle difference between the two prints? Ah, well, it's because they're a set, you see. No, I don't. This pair of photographs is meant to be used in a stereoscope. Everyone in London is raving about them at the moment. Ah, a stereoscope. Why do I feel as though I've heard that before recently? It's almost like there's one in this room right now. Oh, yes. That's what Mr. Sholm showed us yesterday. You see, there it is, just over there. Ah, yes, of course. That magical machine that makes pictures look almost real enough to touch. Well, actually, it's quite possible to see the same depth in pictures even without one of those contraptions. What, really? Do you know how a pair of flat photographic prints can appear to have any depth in the first place? No, I have no idea. Oh, wonderful! Then I'll be able to tell you. She's over the moon. Bless her. She's so happy, yeah. Should we let her explain, though? We really need to carry on the investigation. The scene, I, for one, simply have to know. Yes, tell us. Have you ever considered, Bruno, how our eyes see depth in the world around us? Well, I just opened them, and it works. But the reason it works is because we have two eyes. Two eyes, shocking. If you try closing just one eye at a time, I think you'll see straight away what you see with your left eye. And what you see with your right eye are ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye. Yes, the position of objects seem to shift slightly. Exactly, and in your head, your brain uses that shift to estimate depth as it merges the two views into one. That's how we can sense depth in everything we see. Huh, my brain really is amazing, isn't it? It does so much without telling me. Ah, I think I see. So the pair of photographs consists of a left eye view and a right eye view. Is that right? Oh, well done, Susie. You're so quick. So if you can persuade your brain to merge the two pictures together in your hand, you'll be able to see depth in these prints? Yes, Runo. You're beginning to believe! And a stereoscope's function is to act as your brain and allow you to do just that. Yes, but as long as you have two images, two eyes, and one brain, you can actually do it yourself without needing a stereoscope at all. You can? Really? Let's try it. Let's see if you can view this pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. Oh, yes. I'm dying to have a go. Susato-san really loves this kind of thing. You need to be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. Can you both do that? Cross my eyes? I think I can. Aw. Yeah, I think we're good. Watch me and see if you can copy. Make your eyes do this. Alright, let me try. Are you ready, Mr. Narlo? It's just... I can't, bro. It's so perfect. Oh. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so fucking good. I must. I must. Now it's your turn, Rudo. Okay, we're good. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time. Not exactly an easy task when two people are staring at you cross-eyed. Alright, that's enough practice. Now let's try looking at the prints. Start by staring at one print and slowly crossing your eyes. You should see two overlapping images like this. You try it now, Runo. I'm just going to have to go to try, I suppose. Did the print split into two images for you? Now the next step is to put the pair of prints side by side like this and then try crossing your eyes again. They form a new single image in the center. Oh, yes! Mr. Naruhodo, it works. I can see it in the middle now. It looks so real. Oh, I could look at it all day. It's so good. All right, this moment kind of redeemed it for me. Sasato's like rising very fast. I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt. Your turn, Runo. Pretend you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes. Okay. Like this, is it? There, you managed it. So now you know how stereoscopic images work. Well, I don't know who discovered it, but it really is quite extraordinary. Okay, well... So what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Runo? I hated it. Certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly. No, some people find it easier than others. That's why contraptions like this exist, for people who find it tricky. Oh, I recognize that. We saw one over there yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, it's for her. If I remember correctly, you press this little knob here. Then set the pair of photographs on this stand at the back and... It's still amazing, even though I know roughly how it works. Well, London seems to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of these folding contraptions in lots of households in the capital currently. But if these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you hate them. But it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so in any case. Stereoscopic pictures. I'd never even heard of them until yesterday. We certainly learned a lot about them, but I wonder if it's knowledge that I'll ever actually need. Oh, we just took it. I mean, did that, like, what was the point of this conversation? Did, like, the stereoscopic variant tell us anything? Did I miss it? Look, this dark red smear here appears to have been made by someone's finger. do you think? It could be blood? Do you see any red mark as blood, Iris? That's a bit morbid, I think. I mean, we're just talking about a murder, Naruhodo. Like, it's completely possible this is blood. It's so reasonable, but it's almost certainly blood, isn't it? 10-year-olds today. Everyone in this game fucking sucks, except Iris. Alright, so what about the broken lamp? It's up on the counter. There really is enormous, isn't it? It must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all these hundreds of items in pawn. It's too much to think about. Better to sell it all and have a clear head, if you ask me. But clearly Mr. Windybank was very careful when it came to articles in his care. Was that picture the only thing we could examine? That's odd, but okay. It's a music box. Do you have them where you come from, Runo? Yes, but I've never seen one as large as this in Japan. Oh, well, this will be a treat. Shall we have a listen? What do you think? Isn't it a pretty sound? It's a beautiful sound, yes, but it's a little hard to enjoy with all the policemen in the room. When all the policemen in the room are giving you fierce looks. Never mind that. If any of them say anything, I'll tell Gregsy to have a word. Iris Wilson, Superintendent of Scotland Yard. This is that strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. It makes you think when Mr. Sholmes gleefully showed it to us yesterday, we were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen. I'm fairly sure this contraption was here yesterday as well. Here we are, though I'm not confident I can get it closed again. Oh yes, that's a folding stereoscope. Really? This is a stereoscope? Mr. Sholmes showed us a picture yesterday that you were supposed to be able to see in 3 dimensions. But for that, he used the great big contraption over there. Ah, well, that's for use in public houses and places like that. It contains a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. But this little thing here is a much simpler design for use at home. There are special shops selling prints you can use in them. I have a little collection myself. I wonder if I could make money out of these in Japan. It would be keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway. What? Okay. What? Is these shelves? Let's talk to the bobbies. Oh, the calendar. Oh my god. This officer's been staring intently at the wall since before he came in here. Saw, keep it down. Oh, sorry. There's a major clue here. Really? Then we must tell Gregsy at once. But as soon as I report it, that'll be it. I'll be stuck here even longer. Stuck here? What do you mean? I haven't been home in 2 days already. I need another constable to relieve me and take over me shift. They really have a tough time, the British police. That doesn't stop us investigating, though, does it? No, I suppose not. I'm fairly sure it was the calendar that he was peering at. Yeah, the one that's covered in blood and a fucking bullet. Ah, look here. The way the hole's there makes it seem like the calendar was already falling down and, like, it was only being held up by this, and then the bullet came through and then, like, tore through the rest of it. Like, the calendar was already in this position, and, like, the blood smear sort of lines up with what we have up here. Oh yes, a bullet hole. And I can see the bullet is still lodged in the wall. Presumably, Mr. Windybank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time. Ah, well, this could be the bullet that Holmes took. Mr. Sholmes likes to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. He's very patriotic like that. In the wrong country. Sorry? It's all there in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, you know. Isn't that right, Iris? Did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, he doesn't do it often. It's quite a dangerous pastime. He doesn't do it often? He shouldn't even do it once. Forget that for now, Runo. Let's examine this bullet. What's that around the bullet hole? Is it blood? A suspicious red stain on the calendar. Aha! I may well be able to help with that. What? There's nothing like the sign of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Runo? No. I have a feeling I'm not as bloody-minded as you, Iris. I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold. There you have it, you see. When it comes to blood, we're all different types. Yes, what a scientific observation. This actually is just Emma, isn't it? So you need this. Oh no. What is that scary looking thing? Hurley and I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet. But as soon as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Watch. Does the blood light up? You've invented luminol? Oh, the color of the bloodstain has changed. There, does it make sense now? Yes, I think I'm starting to understand. Are you? Good, it works on the principle that different people have different blood types, you see. Yes, how wonderful. The chemical it fires combines with the blood and makes it change color, so you can identify whose blood it is that you're looking at in a flash. Oh, what a fabulous invention, Iris. I bet Jenny would say it's bleed and great. I mean, this is like technology we don't have today. You can't like just look at someone and go like, yep, that bloodstain right there is B positive. Like, not even in the most recent game, so that's like unironically kind of crazy. So, whose blood are we looking at then? Well, all the chemical does is turn... Ooh, sorry. The blood a different color, so... Just find someone whose blood turns the same color and you'll know who it belongs to in a flash. It's more like 2 flashes, really, isn't it? We really are a lawyer. 1 flash or 2, this could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. Rhyming couplets, once again, so we must make a note of it in the court record. The blood sample has been added to... Okay. Let's keep testing, and adding the results of any other blood analysis to the portfolio. As long as I have reagent left, sure. Actually, there's a stain on the back of that one photograph, isn't there? I think perhaps we should see if that can tell us anything. Did that say... If that can tells us anything. Okay. I don't know, they just fucked up, it's fine. That's really unfortunate. The game usually didn't fuck up as hard as Danganronpa most times. Mr. Naruhodo, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here. Yeah, it's almost like that's the whole reason we opened this up again. I have noticed. A red smear, you mean? Yes, it looks like blood, doesn't it? I wonder if Sasato-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case... Yes, we need Iris. We should show this to her before we forget. Coat? What do you mean coat? We didn't find this in a coat. We found it on the table at the scene of the crime. Oh, that looks like blood. I would say it's from a gloved finger, almost certainly a glove made of leather. Well, don't worry, Runo. You can leave the rest to me. I actually can tell, like, it wasn't like a completely blank, solid, like, chunk of a fingerprint stain. So I couldn't tell for sure. It could have been like a fingerprint, but there's just no way. Well, don't worry, Runo. You can leave the rest to me. I'm blind as shit. Is it green? No. It's magenta. Look at that. Yes, that's a color we haven't seen before, isn't it? We simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Although it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point. Well, this particular stain of blood. Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? I want to say it's the pawnbroker. Yes, I have an idea whose blood this is. Not from the color returned, but the little deduction. That's right, I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well? You first, Rudo. Who do you think it belongs to? Alright, I believe that this belongs to... Okay. Someone could be Mr. Windybank's blood? Well, he would have been the last person to handle the ticket. Sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. Oh, wait, it's Gina's, because Gina, like, took the ticket, and it was, okay, alright, I wanna, just fucking, it's fine, that didn't happen. I think I do. Oh my, you think this is Gina's blood? Yes, it was Gina who brought the ticket here at Windybanks after all. Some of the simplest answer is the right one. But Gina doesn't own any gloves at all. And Ginny wasn't injured. I thought, like, her hands were covered in blood, and that's, like, when she got the ticket, and, like, she never washed it. I feel like that was reasonable. No, I want to get this right. I want to... I want to get this right. I want to answer, and I want to know why. There's no consequence to getting it wrong. Mr. McGill did? Yes, after all, this redemption ticket belonged to him. Oh, you don't think... You mean that during the incident on the omnibus? Yes, I expect so. It's a very clear print and no small amount of blood. So it must have resulted from a fairly serious accident, such as he might have had sustained on the omnibus. Wait, but if I remember rightly, no sign of injury was found on Mr. McGilded at all. So it's Mason? Mason had the codes all along? He knew the numbers? Alright, you know what? I've been caught and bamboozled. Alright. Explain game. Thrice fired Mason? You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off there. Well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course I never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice fired Mason, though. The victim of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice-Filled Mason. But that would mean that his bloodstain was left on the ticket 2 months ago. Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Windybanks yesterday. I'm suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time. But then I feel like saying that it's Gina makes more sense. I don't remember the picture. I'd have to see the picture, but I didn't think, like, he had gloves on, but maybe he did. So it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGill was also wearing leather gloves that night. Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul would rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. It certainly does look like a leather glove's thumbprint, this mark. But we know that Mr. McGill had no injuries at the time anywhere on his body. From what we can conclude, that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason. Mr. Narhoda, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes. Mine is the quirky slip-ups, I hope. Yes, I think you're right, Runo. Very well, let's make a note of this. Can we go to the back? Behind that door is a storeroom, isn't it? That's what Grexy said. Yes, and that's where I saw the dreadful scene last night. Through the little window in the door. Was that Windybanks' gun? Mr. Windybank. Face down on the floor with Gina beside him. As the accused legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Narhodo. We must make a thorough investigation. Yes, of course, and we will. Behind that door, that's the real scene of the crime. Don't worry, if there are clues in there, I'll find them. Can we move there? Like, is that legal? Oh, there is. Okay, good. Did we get any other evidence? No, we got the 2 pictures. We stereoscopic looked at it. Okay. Poor Iris, she's climbed up completely. Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Windybanks' life was taken in this very room only last night. Ah! Fuck. Wait, Inspector. What is it now, Sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away. You think a Scotland inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do you? Well... I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before, is the thing. I didn't know what to say to her. So you weren't running away from me, you were running away from a 10-year-old. I'm afraid this is all a little too much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way perhaps, Inspector. Huh? Ahem. Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead. What the fuck? Oh my god. I mean, it could be worse. I remember when we, like, first met Pearl and Gumshoe was like, hey, you wanna see something cool? How about this gun? You just keep throwing this fucking pistol. I don't think that went very well. Why? Alright. Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine, and I told you not to get under my feet. Okay. And we have investigating to do ourselves. Yes. I'd like to hear more of what the socially inept inspector has to say. Oh, Hurley. And inquire into how Mr. Sholm's operation is going. Let me examine first. I want to see the blood. The police have marked the position of the body with a chalk line. Poor Mr. Windybank. He was a nice old man. He really was. I liked him. Well, he was shot just once through the heart. Most likely, the fellow died instantly. He wouldn't have felt a thing. This must be his blood, then. Ah. I don't like to ask at such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps... Don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action. Is it green? No, it's blue. So now we know the color the chemical turns when it reacts with Mr. Windybank's blood. And doesn't match our analysis of the bloodstain we found in the main shop. No, but let's add the sample to the others we've already collected anyway. Hey, Pearl, look, a gun. This is a revolver, a real one. And quite possibly the murder weapon used to take Mr. Windybank's life. What's the matter, Susie? You and Bruno look like you're about to faint. Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh, and I've had issues with guns in the past. But anyway, we saw Mr. Windybank with this yesterday, didn't we? I shall have to take my own life! It must be the same gun. And last night, when I looked through the spy hole in the door to the storeroom here, that was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand. Mr. Windybank told us that he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he? Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet he had in his gun has been fired, so we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired from this revolver. Suspiciously open drawer. Out of all the articles in this room, this is the only thing that shows any sign of being ransacked. I mean, is it? What is it, Iris? That's the box file that my manuscript was being kept in. Oh. Iris's unpublished story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Surely that's not what all this... Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. We must check inside the box at once. Yes. Ah, it's gone! It was there. Iris' story was there. Really? It was? I'm genuinely surprised. Well, that's good news, isn't it, Iris? Yes. I mean, of course I believed Hurley when he said he deposited it in here, but still, it's a relief to actually see it. Really? Because that's not a very well-hidden frown. A long, unpublished story that Mr. Holmes deposited at the pawnbrokery of the victim, Mr. Windybank. It's entitled The Hound of the Baskervilles. Oh, these are all just like loose sheets of paper. It's not bound at all. Interesting. The Hound of the Baskervilles. How did Sasato know the exact title of this unpublished story? I suppose I'll just have to wait until she's ready to explain it to me. I'm so sorry. I mean, we can't wait. She's gonna leave tomorrow. Can we not examine the one drawer that's open? No? That's... okay. Sure. A gramophone. Okay, we're good. Look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room is stuffed full of them. I can't believe how many there are. A bicycle, a gramophone, musical instruments, even some enormous paintings. Look. Pieces of different people's lives quietly gathering dust in here together. There's something very peaceful about the atmosphere in here. Or at least there would be if not for the chalk outline on the floor and the policeman shuffling around. Not much I can do about that, sunshine. Oh, it's all part of it. Okay, I see. Oh, so the chalk outline? This is actually pretty smooth. Like, movement is kind of fast, which is nice, but it's left to, like, click. What if I hit spacebar? Oh, I can hit spacebar. Okay, that's fine, then. So I'm gonna use a mouse. Iris? Don't worry, I'm alright. But we must find the true culprit. Yes, absolutely. I don't think there's anything else. So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here? Pshaw, you got eyes, haven't you? Use them. It's what it looks like. It is what it looks like here. What it looks like. Nothing more, nothing less. Iris, could you lend me a hand? So, Gregsy, what do you make of the crime scene here? Oh yes, your ladyship. Do allow me to humbly explain. Last night, at shortly after the hour of 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene. Like, I love how reliable Iris and now, Sasato is being, but like, they're being reliable because the other people are just being really, really fucking difficult with information for no reason. They're just being obtuse, and they're like, oh, but like, the character will start talking now that they've said some random bullshit. The one and only door to the storeroom was found locked from the inside. So it was locked from the inside. The lock appears to be broken now, though. Was that the police officer's doing? Quite right, ma'am, quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in as humbly as possible. Oh. As you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor, thuswise. And next to the aforementioned body, we discovered the vile gutter child. Are you talking about Ginny? She's my friend, you know, Inspector. Miss Lestrade, the hapless girl, was curled up on the floor, dead to the world. She's still alive, you know. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious. And I'm afraid to say, she had the gun that was used in her hand. No. Presumably it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now. In her pocket, we found the key to the door as well. What? The key to the storeroom? And you say the storeroom had been locked from the inside, Inspector. Correct. All of which leaves her ladyship's friend in something of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. Obviously, my personal opinion is that it's all some sort of misunderstanding. Of course it is. It is, Inspector. Of course it is. Grexy, do you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is Hurley alright? Is he? The thing is, don't mince your words, Inspector. Don't mince your words, Inspector. Please. You don't mean to say that Mr. Sholmes is... No, no, no. The operation's done and dusted. It's just that, well... Out with it. Yes, ma'am. You didn't toss him? They use something called a general anesthetic. It's the latest thing. Renders the whole body insensitive. The whole body anesthetized? Is that even possible? It means the operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep. Goodness. In the Empire of Japan, we can just manage to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction. The trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing, if you follow my meaning. They couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for him to nod off, or so I hear. And now that the op's finished, they can't get him to wake up, apparently. Oh my. No one knows if it's the anesthetic still in the system, or if the bloke's just plain exhausted. But anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch until he comes around again. Hurley. The moment he opens his eyes, your ladyship, I swear I shall get word to you. What a surprise, even in the matters of life and death. Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. Yep. Okay, I guess the question was like, whose blood could this be? In which case, it would have to be like Thrice Fired Mason's blood. I was more looking at it as like who's responsible for like putting the blood stain on the paper, which is like admittedly incorrect because like if you look at it as who could have possibly like left the blood stain on the paper, that fingerprint could either be Ginny's or it could be McGilded's, but the blood for sure is Mason's. Like even if Mason had like nothing to do with anything else on this. So yeah, that's fine. I was dumb the first time. And continue to be very stupid. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing anything here. Chalk outline, the gun. This presents. So Kristen, could you give me your opinion about this, do you think? We don't tend to share sunshine, not with the general public. In that case, Rexy, how about some herbal tea? Oh god, so long. Lovely. Thought very much. That really hit the spot. How much tea are you packing? You don't mind sharing that, then? Is that what I think it is? Your ladyship's latest. Yes, my latest story. It's called The Hound of the Baskervilles. A most fascinating title, your ladyship. Fascinating, and I don't suppose would there be any mention of my humble self in the tale this time? Good question. I can't really remember. I see. Well, why would you, your ladyship? I'll just await its publication with eager anticipation. You needn't worry, Inspector. I'm sure if you do appear, you won't be doing anything particularly remarkable. You looking to be arrested, Sunshine? Yeah, that was very out of pocket. I didn't mean it like that, and even if I did, you wouldn't have bitten her ladyship's head off, would you? Yeah, but you just didn't need to say that. That was so random. So what if we present this to you? Oh, my manuscripts. Mr. Sholmes said he deposited it at Windybanks, and he had. But it's so strange. What is it about this particular story? I worked so hard on it. Why would Hurley say I can't publish it? I'm afraid I have no idea. All you can do is wait until he's ready to tell you, I suppose. Oh, maybe it's because Hurley isn't in it enough. Maybe I didn't give him enough good lines. Yes, maybe. I wish I could say that definitely isn't the reason, but I can't. So that could actually be true. Yes, Iris. Her deductions can do no wrong. These shelves are where the pawnbroker puts articles that have been forfeited on display for customers to buy. Yes, it's a really strange miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy all this horse statue, for example? Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among all the junk, you know? Are you alright, Runo? Oh, it's just, well, it looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole, but when you pick out individual things, you can't help wishing you owned them. Even that horse statue. That's exactly how the pawnbroker works. That's very clever. Oh, shit. Yeah. Is there anything else? There must be, right? Oh, what's this? The police are scouring every inch of this place by the look of it. Instructions from the yard are to examine every article in the shop and every ledger and book of accounts. Every article, but that's a ridiculous amount of work, surely. We've been hard at it ever since the shop was declared a crime scene in the early hours. We're sifting through it all in shifts at least, but still. We'll be working through the night, that's for sure, and even then we'll barely have scratched the surface. A crime in a pawnbroker's. It must be every policeman's worst nightmare. It's every copper's worst nightmare, you know, a crime in the pawnbrokers. Well, he actually didn't read our mind, though. Insane. We've come so far. Okay. Green blood. It just seems wrong somehow. Oh, there are all sorts of different colors. There are pretty pinks and purples too, you know? Yeah, we just saw them. Like I said, everyone's blood is different. I wonder what color my blood would turn out. Actually, I don't want to know. What about, like, actually in Baker Street? Hey, Bobby. There's still a Scotland Yard carriage outside Windybanks. I never imagined we'd be investigating a case so close to home. Poor Iris, she's really upset by all this. I'm sorry. I was there. I should have done more. None of this is your fault, Runo, so please, don't apologize. But it's the criminals who are to blame for all this. So let's investigate and work how to catch them. Yes, you're right. Okay. So... maybe the hospital? No. Oh, is this for tea? Oh, that's nice. Oh, we left the water boiling the entire time? It's spring at last and the weather is warmer now, but I love the smell of the fire and the steam rising from the kettle. Oh, how about some tea, Runo? Thanks, Iris, but I'm alright for now. With the green tea Sasato makes me from time to time, Iris's unique herbal infusions, this place is paradise for a true tea lover. True? If you're sure, you know I always have plenty whenever you're feeling thirsty. So this is the tea set that Mrs. Sato brought with her from Japan. Let's hope she hasn't noticed me slipping sugar and milk into my cup when she makes it. It's just so bitter. Susie's lovely green tea has had quite an impact on Hurley, you know? He stopped putting milk and sugar in his coffee, even. And Hurley is normally bitterly opposed to bitterness. Oh god, I'm more like Sherlock Holmes than I am like our character. That's... I'm just like slowly realizing like the commonalities we have, and it's kind of upsetting. Okay, so is there like blood somewhere else that I could think of? Was there something in here? No. Not that I can remember, at least. Hmm. I feel like there should be more things here that I haven't found, but apparently not. I just don't see anything else that I like left to examine. Assuming the bicycle's a part of it. Okay, okay. Oh god, these are so long, though. Oh, maybe we could, like, go present the picture to Ginny? Gina doesn't appear to be here. At least she must be in questioning at the moment. Okay, so we still have to find something. Oh, but wait a minute. What is it, Iris? Well, if you examine the scene here carefully, there's another possibility, isn't there? Ginny could have slipped the key from the jailer when he wasn't looking and escaped. Oh my. Why would she do something like that? It would only make her situation worse. Calm down, Runo. I was only joking, of course. Oh. You had me worried there. I thought it was a great deduction. Yes, it must be your way with words, Iris. You're so wonderfully persuasive. Perhaps you don't fully understand the weight of your words, the weight that your words carry. Oh dear, I'm sorry. I suppose a light-hearted great detective is a contradiction in terms. Well, in the same situation, I'm sure Mr. Sholmes would have thrown his head back and guffawed. I'm not entirely sure that's helpful, Mr. Narhaba. Well, anyway, it looks like we won't be able to talk to Gina for a while. We should try to make progress with our investigation in the meantime. Yes, come along then, Runo. Come along, Susie. Okay. Is there anything else? No, there isn't. But there's not 4 things yet. The way you can identify differences in people's blood like this is amazing. You really are a genius, Iris. I know. I am. If Hurley and I put our minds to it, we could really shake up Britain's chemists and alchemists. And you could shake up Japan's lawyers and judges, couldn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, for sure, even if I didn't intend to. What about this? No. What about this? No. Dude, it feels like I'm hunting for the mana coins again. Yeah, I don't see anything. Yeah, no. Alright. Oh, okay. Inspector, what do you make of this? Ah, what have we here then? A redemption ticket for an article deposited here, is it? Looks like someone ran out of the office stationery and wrote the ticket on whatever paper was in hand. Yes, this is the ticket for McGilded's overcoat, the one that little diver turned up with yesterday. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Really? Think you know better than me, do you? I didn't mean to, I mean... Bruno's right, Gregsy. It isn't the same ticket. Of course it isn't. Of course it isn't. I never doubted you, your ladyship. So, what's all this about then, if I might be so bold as to ask? This is a second ticket. A second one? It seemed that Mr. McGilded, in fact, had another article in storage here at Windybanks. Is that right? I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh good, because he's ever so easy to talk to. It's almost like no one is, Naruhodo. It's almost like no one is. This ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGilded's overcoat. You mean to tell me... Yes, there was more than just one... There's more than just the music box disc, it seems. Whoa! There was more than just the music box disc, it seems. I should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard and examining it properly. Well, according to the details on this ticket, Mr. McGilded deposited another article here with Mr. Windybank. Yes, I can see it written here. A small box, was it? Do you have any idea where it is, Gregsy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilded. It could be an important clue. Well, yes, I suppose it could be. Please stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure. I'll lose my marbles, I will. I'll go barking. Just... I wish I could eat anything with as much enthusiasm as this man is munching on his fucking fish and chips right now. Holy fuck. This is no time for dog impression, Inspector. That's enough sauce from you, Sunshine. Oh, he's a wizard. There is one thing that springs to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it? Oh yes, of course. Articles are only held for 2 months. So the small box will no longer be in here then. That's right. It's been forfeited. Which means it could be on the shelves in the front of the shop, where the forfeited items are offered for sale. Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search them at once. You're wasting your time. Oh, there are dozens of little boxes out there, hundreds even. We can't possibly know which one might have been begilted. That information is not written in the ledger. Well, I think we should at least have a look, just in case. Of course, your ladyship. Of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure. This is getting old. It's been old after, like, the second time game. You just stating that, but then you keep... The fact that you keep doing it after stating that doesn't make it better. That means we still have to sit through and listen to it. How is this every game? I nearly jumped out of my skin there. How could Mr. Windybank set such a wicked trap? I doubt he set out to scare anyone. Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit soon. Oh? Oh? Her trial is tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you will be defending her. I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. Don't you remember, Runo? He told her she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer. Really? Did I say that? Yes, you did. Oh, that was cool. They've never done that before. There's like two people and like one side is for the person here, the other side is for the person there. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching. In that case, we had better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again. Alright. Ah, Gina. Good. You're back. Ah! The police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Ginny? Was it awful? Eh? Oh. Didn't bother me. Thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant we were able to investigate at Windybanks. Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying, that I did it. That's not... Gina, we came to ask you for your final decision. Eh? What decision? Decision? About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not? I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you. Right, I see. She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. But I know what that feels like. The worry is just so hard to bear. Oh, alright then. Blimey. Give it a rest with my eyes, Iris. So come on then, fill us in. Who done it? Unfortunately, we don't know that yet. You don't say. We don't know yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime. And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish. Oh yeah? Like what? Well, for example, the reason for you being here in the first place. I think I know why you broke into Windybanks that night. It looks like I'm going to have to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason and thrust it in Gina's face, or I could present it to her calmly, I suppose. Okay. So is this... Do you see this pawnbroker's ticket, Gina? It's the one you took It's the one you took to Windybanks, isn't it? The one for that black overcoat that you're wearing now. What, that? I don't know. They all look the same to me, those tickets. Surely not. Well, this one has a very obvious mark on it that would appear to be in blood. Does that ring any bells? I don't know. It all looks the same to me, blood. And they all sound the same to me, these answers. Suspicious. Okay. I'm glad she's not being so fucking difficult. Here, Gina, look at this. Is this like supposed to be some endearing character trait that we're supposed to like find great? The manuscript of Iris' latest story. Ah. Oh, right. Well, that's good then. Curiously, the storeroom at Windybanks showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like, with one exception. The box file that housed this manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night. You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of Baskerville was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so if that's first off, inherently that's a really fucking stupid reason we're setting this to. But if that's not the reason, and she's like, "Oh no, I did it so I could steal it and prove that yeah, like Sherlock Holmes didn't give a shit about Iris," like, just I'm not saying she'd do that, but the fact that I thought of it and the fact that that's something I mean this game wouldn't do, but Danganronpa would maybe do, is just proof that my brain is like too far gone. I've just been corrupted forever. Why don't you tell us what happened, please? Alright, yeah. This Baskerville story, it's the latest Sholmes adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet. So I figured it's gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right? Oh yes, at least 5,000 pounds. What? So you intend to sell Iris's manuscript, did you? No, Ginny, how could you? Well, wait, no, hang on. Of course I weren't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the manuscript, or whatever you call it, really was there or not. It's the only reason I was in the place. For Iris' sake? Isn't that right? Ah, we knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. But... And you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Ginny. I just knew it. Well, when I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you said the night before. Crimes do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced liars, a lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling you, that mantle script ain't that Windybanks. You'd soon see if you had a look. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley is telling me the truth sometimes. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Oh, Ginny, that was so sweet of you. Alright, alright. I'll tell you why I did it. Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. If it weren't because of Iris, that's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all. You wanted to know Mr. Sholmes was being honest, if he'd really deposited the manuscript at Windybanks? It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. But Iris' lot ain't like mine. She's got her dad, only she can't see him. And I reckon that's gotta be harder. That's why she writes her stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me anyway. Last night when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories about Daddy? You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective? So much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner? Well, that's how I see it, yeah. You're so thoughtful and so kind, Ginny. Yes, and we never thought any differently, did we? Look, give it a rest, will you? I hate all this chummy nonsense, do you hear? I hate it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work. Because if you don't trust no one can let you down. This is also just inaccurate as like a street urchin. This is not how they are. So leave me alone. Go on, Scarper. I had nose until now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of the overcoat. Oh, it's covered in blood. Or is it mud? Or some very suspicious red stains. What? Why are you looking at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Gina now. We already have the representation papers and the other documents we need. All we have to do is hand them to the court clerk. That is, if you'll allow me to represent you in court tomorrow. Nah, don't bother. Ginny, rip him up and chuck him, would you? Damn representation papers, or whatever they're called. The cell ain't fancy enough to have a bin. So, what will you do in court tomorrow? I'll be fine on my own. I don't think you will be. Look, it don't matter. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. This is one stubborn pickpocket. Alright, what are we presenting to her? Is it this one? Or is it this one? Those stains on the sleeve of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet. What? Blood, Mr. Naruto? You don't appear to have any obvious wounds on yourself, though. So could it be blood that splattered from Mr. Windybank when he was shot last night? Let's not beat around the bush here. Trust your friend of mine will get results much faster than anything else. Take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Ginny. I'm going to shoot. It's purple? Who had that color? No, it's Mason. Yeah, it's Mason's blood. It's only on the coat and not on her own clothes. Oh my. What the? Forget the sleeves. The whole coat is covered in blood. Of course, the black color of the fabric was masking the stains. That's why we haven't seen them until now. And the blood has reacted with the chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly. Yes, now let's see who had the purple blood. Ah, yes, it was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago. I knew it. What were you all on about? The victim? What you mean? It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruto, but I think this makes things quite clear. It means the omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed. Yeah, it was just the obvious one. Wait, would someone explain what's going on? Stop telling half a story. We can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGilded's coat. But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony. Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. But if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from Mr. McGilda trying to put the victim to his feet. I mean, they could have. No. If that was what had really happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat. I mean, it could have. The only explanation for this pattern of blood is it splattered when Mr. McGill did, or when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. I mean, yes, that's the most likely scenario, but, like, trying to help someone out while they're, like, bleeding from their stomach, it could very easily leave this on you. Like, artistic choices, I guess. Like, sure. I'm willing to believe that, yes, that's probably what happened. Because McGilda was just very obviously the killer in that case. I tried to run from the truth for long enough, but there is no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case Mr. Mason's killer, Magnus McGilded. Mr. Naruhodo. That horrible case is solved at last, and I helped the man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. How could I have let that happen? I mean, she helped Bruno. Did you believe him, though? Did you believe Mr. McGilded was innocent? Not by the end of it. I believed, or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is the defense lawyer's greatest weapon. A weapon. Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson. You mean Kazuma-sama? Listen, Ryunosuke. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what is the truth and what is a lie, which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief? Only when we truly believe what our client tells us can we fight with everything we have for their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. What's funny, Gina? Court sounds like in this empire of Japan you come from, everyone must be soft. Well, come on. Look at this mess. Look at the mess it's gotten you into, believing in that bogtrotter. Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. Well, at least you've learned your lesson now, eh? Believing in people is never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back in the end. Oh my god. Soon as you let your guard down, you've had it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one. Get hurt by no one. Gina, may I ask you something? What? I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial? How many times do you have to say it? Rip them up and chuck them away. Are you really sure that's what you want? I bet that's what he wants and all now. Mr. I'm a believer lawyer over there. Don't forget, it was me in that trial 2 months ago. I led everyone up the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not likely. Well, Mr. Naruto, a lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel like I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. I trust her. I don't think she killed him. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial. Are you half-baked? Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? And what's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth. Seriously, Mr. Naruhodo. Didn't you hear all of what I said before? I'm a born liar. Fibs just trip off me tongue. And I'm a diver, don't forget. I pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you into all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it. Yeah, me neither. Gina. I do understand why you choose not to put your trust in others. But I assure you, there's more to this life than you just realize. Than you yet realize. What you mean? The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down. It's true that I'm just a student of law and I'm certainly lacking in courtroom experience. But I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I am completely on your side. What you expect me to say to that? Then it's decided. I will take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparation for tomorrow's trial. It would be a shame to throw them away now after it's been penned with your name so beautifully. Do what you like. You Eastern Law are... I don't know what you are, I don't get you. Gina's taken herself off to the back of her cell. She never admitted, but I hope she's feeling relieved. That turned out alright in the end, I think. Whoever's hiding there, show yourself at once. Eavesdropping is the height of cowardice. Miss Sasato? Somebody's there in the shadows. I can sense it. Somebody who wasn't there before. What? Blimey, you're sharp, eh? I suppose you were using one of those mystic Japanese arts like the art of stealth I've heard so much about. If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector. Rexy! Oh dear me, I am most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you. How long have you been listening in on our conversation? Good grief, listening in? No. I just got word that there were some visitors who were refusing to leave even though it was after hours. I assure you, your ladyship, I only just arrived this very minute, not a moment earlier. That's all it is. Nothing untoward, nothing at all. After hours? Is it that late already? So then, I'll humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Ta-ta, toodaloo, cheerio, all the best, bye and bye-bye. Bye, bye, and bye. And not one of them appropriate for her ladyship. Oh, but I wanted to have a chat. I'm terribly sorry, but time is pressing at the minute. Oh, I see. That's a shame. If you don't get this emergency at the Supreme Court dealt with sharpish, Lord Strongheart will, well, emergency? Lord Strongheart? Nothing, forget I said anything. Anyway, I'm off. Alright, Grexy, if you have to, let's chat soon. Delighted, charmed, can't wait, if you please, my pleasure. That's a lot of pleasantries, and not one of them sounded sincere. Rexy's so funny. He says such silly things. It's certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police fawning to a 10-year-old girl. We'll call it entertaining. But anyway, I wonder what this emergency is at the Supreme Court. I must attend the court clerk's office now before it closes. Yes, of course. Thank you, Mrs. Sato. Kindly escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruhodo. I shall meet you there later. And so our investigation came to an end. Sato-san went to file the necessary papers for my defense of Gina the following day. And then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that had been gnawing away at my insides. Tomorrow, Sato-san would be leaving Britain and making her way back to Japan. See, like, the game finally made me sort of like her and appreciate her, and now she's just gone. Okay, fine. Naruhodo-san, it's been a very trying day, hasn't it? I do hope you're not too exhausted. What about you, Sato-san? Today has been even more trying for you, I'm sure. Mr. Sholmes was shot before our eyes, and Gina was arrested. All on the back of the news that her father has fallen ill, and she must return to Japan at once. I hope your father recovers soon. Thank you for your kind words. I wonder why it is that so many thoughts rage in my head like a storm, and yet I seem unable to find the words to express any of them. I know exactly what you mean. Anyway, I have one final task to complete as your judicial assistant. Once that is done, I shall make preparations for my departure tomorrow. One final task? It's just 2 months since we arrived in London, but we managed to establish this office. It was finally feeling as though we were settling in. I would be lying if I said I felt no regret. I'm so sorry, Sato-san. It's just so sudden. I really don't know what to think. I've had no time to gather my thoughts. I know we've only been here for a short time, but in my limited experience of the courtroom, I feel I've learned something. And what would that be? It seems to me there are many facets to people's personalities. Facets. And like a jewel, the light plays off of them in complex patterns, illuminating their actions and their motives. But we see only a small number of the total facets, and what is illuminated is only a part of the whole story. That was surprisingly and randomly very poetic. What lies in the shadows? What do those facets we cannot see look like? Perhaps there are some parts we'll never lay eyes on for as long as we live. That's so true. Like, compare that to the fucking sky is blue and so am I. Where did all the art go in the right household? Sometimes I feel as though I'm blind to so much, but I keep hoping that one day it will all become clear. That all the facets will be illuminated and I'll finally understand how everything fits together. Naruhodo-san, I suppose what matters is that we keep our eyes open and keep moving forward, even if the way sometimes seems dark. It's amazing to think it's just been 2 months. You've grown so much. Oh, look at her. She's so proud of us. Sorry, I've what? Oh no, it was nothing. Unimportant. Do you know what time you will leave London in the morning? Yes, I picked up my ticket earlier. I should be leaving here at 4 a.m. I see. Well, I'll escort you to the station. Absolutely not. Sorry? I'm sure you realize why I couldn't possibly let you do that. You have a very important day ahead of you tomorrow. Gina's trial. Yes, I know, but every word you utter will have the potential to determine Gina's fate. You must get as much rest as possible, even though, like me, I'm sure you will find it hard to sleep. But please, for me, do try. You mentioned one final task a moment ago. What did you mean? Oh my, I nearly forgot. You just talked about it. Please, I want you to have this. What is that? Some huge bundle of documents? It's my notes from the case 2 months ago. The murder that was committed on the omnibus murder, the McGilton case. It seems to me that this case of Mr. Windybank's murder, of which Gina is accused, is very much tied up with that omnibus case in ways that are not yet completely apparent. So I took the liberty of consolidating my writings about that case for you. With everything else she's had to think about. Susato-san still managed to do this, and all neatly laid out for me in her beautiful handwriting. It was my pleasure. I can only hope that it will bolster your case for tomorrow for Gina. Thank you so much, Sato-san. I will do my best to use it wisely. You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said there. Oh, ignore me. I was just mumbling to myself. My evil plan failed. You just don't know about it. Kazuma's rolling over from his evil lair watching the footage going, Sasada, you fucking idiot, you were supposed to corrupt the man. Like, why isn't he stabbing babies? Like, what is going on? Well, it's getting rather late. I think you should go to bed now, Naruto-san. I must finish packing up my things in in my room. Susato-san, I wish you the very best of luck tomorrow. Good night. Oh, that animation was adorable. And it's gone. What? What was that? A secret technique of mine. This is how to shut down. Shut down? Please, I implore you. We have to voice our goodbyes. I won't be able to hold back my tears. The turnaround animation is adorable. Susato-san. It truly had been a trying day. On our feet for hours, getting Gina to open up to us and learning the truth about the nemesis of the case. Physically and mentally, I was exhausted, and yet the idea of sleep seemed impossible, but I forced myself to close my eyes. And as a cacophony of scenes of our lives here in London played through my mind. Eventually, my fatigue triumphed, and I fell into a deep sleep. The small hours. Yes, I quite understand. That is a great weight off my mind. Rest assured, I shall put everything in place exactly as we have discussed. Thank you so much. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be acquainted with you, Mr. Sholmes. On the contrary, the pleasure has been mine. I bid you farewell, and Godspeed. My dear madam. Huh, I wonder what's going on there. It's almost like everyone knows something and we're just completely fucking clueless. But we just don't know what. I'm hoping like in this final episode, something will be revealed. But I think that's all we have time for today. So that's fine. I mean, we've made progress. We're up to the trial, so like hopefully it's going to be more exciting, and I'll look forward to like actually playing the game the next day. Today, this was good. Like this arc was kind of pretty good. I like Susato a lot more now. She was better here than like almost all of the other cases she was in combined. Like she was actually more of her own character at this very end. Like this very tail end of like, oh, now that I've established being myself as a character, let me just leave, which is great, sure. Um, so I don't know. We'll see how the trial plays out tomorrow. Uh, whoa, real Matt Ungard. Thanks for the follow. Welcome. One of the best characters for my personal favorite case in the entire series. But yeah, welcome to the chat. You sort of caught me on the tail end though. I was about to call the stream for today. But hopefully I'll be around for tomorrow. We start the trial tomorrow. Yeah, no, I gotta go home and like take care of your cat in the off hours. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Peace, peace.